Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Age of Empires 4 Golden League 2, hosted by EGCTV, and we've got a cracking matchup for you, a best of 3 between Beastyqt playing in the southwest in teal as the Holy Roman Empire. It's going to be going up against none other than 3DB in the northeast, playing in red as the Rus. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Basin, kicking us off in game number 1. And we are in for a treat in this best of 3. Hopefully we'll see a full 3 games, but we shall see, because we'll definitely have 2. So do stick around at the end of this first game. We'll be sticking it out and keeping all the games in this one video. Super excited to see this pan out, because of course, well, with Beastyqt being at the top of Age of Empires 4, the ladder for so long, 3DB missing out on Red Bull Wallow Legacy because of some interesting circumstances. He was banned from the tournament, and I don't think there was too much love lost there between Beastyqt and 3DB at that time, but in any case, they're going to be facing up against each other now in Golden League 2. This best of 3, with the Ark and Chapel being the landmark of choice for Beastyqt. HRE, an incredibly strong civilization for him. He certainly has a lot of fun playing this civilization. It looks like he might be going for a second town center. He's got one village on stone at the moment, and this Ark and Chapel is going to be an incredibly strong position. It's going to be influencing the wood, the gold, and the stone. And if you are new to Age of Empires 4 Ark and Chapel, what it does, it enables the prelate to garrison inside this. And you might be wondering, well, what's a prelate? Well, it's a unique unit for the Holy Roman Empire, a religious unit that actually boosts and inspires these villagers by increasing their production, increasing the gather speed rather of resources by 40%. That is a huge economy bonus. And the prelate garrisoning inside the Ark and Chapel has an area of influence, and all the villagers working inside that area of influence will be inspired. The Rus, on the other hand, they have some unique things about their civilization. They have the hunting cabin, which passively generates gold. As you can see, 26 gold per minute coming in there for 3DB. Going for the wolf, you see a little bit of a plus 25 up there. That's because the Rus, when they kill Gaia on the field, which is things like wolves and deer, they get some gold bounty in there. And if they can tally it up quite nicely, they can increase the economy efficiency. It's going to be the Kremlin, going up with the Kremlin here, 3DB. A new rework to this landmark in Season 4 means that they can actually levy militia. They pay a little bit of a fee, but they can get units spawning on the field. They're very fast in movement, but they only have a certain lifespan. They just perish after a certain lifespan, and got to make them work. Be interested to see if he uses this nice and early or not, or whether he saves them up. The longer you leave the Kremlin to work developing and training those militia, the more you can spawn when you click that magic button. Speaking of magic buttons, a lot of these pingings going off here, a lot of APM being used by killing these wolves with the scout for 3DB. There's the new age for 3DB. New age for both players now. Now, with Basin being an interesting map, we've got the sacred site in the middle, of course, and one sacred site very close to either player. And this is interesting because, of course, when they do get to the castle age, the prelate can just ungarrison outside of this Ark and Chapel and just capture the sacred site. And the Rus, if they do decide to challenge for relics, could do the same with their warrior monks. Speaking of relics, that's an important topic, because the HRE can be incredibly strong with the relics being gathered. If they go up with the Regnitz Cathedral, a landmark that they can potentially go up to the castle age. Nice relic position there for Beastyqt. 2 in the middle of the basin, 1 very close there to 3DB, and 1 sort of in the center here in the far northwest. Something that 3DB would look to try and deny if he can, because the HRE with relics in their grasp is painful. It's a very difficult thing to go up against. The gold generation they get is superb, and they can also garrison those relics in structures like outposts to bolster the statistics there. Armor, the range, the damage output, everything. Looks like it's going to be a ball play here. Going to go for that ball. It's going to be second town center there for 3DB as well on that ball. Second town center here for Beastie came out on the deer pack on the west of his main primary base. He's going to be walling up woodline to woodline, just narrowing the points of attack. 3DB. Game number 1, a farming transition coming in nice and early, and this is interesting because the Ark and Chapel, with the farming transition coming in, these farms can be super efficient, and we'll see the food income coming very fast as the game progresses if this farming transition continues from Beastyqt. It's an absolute sight to behold, the amount of food that the Ark and Chapel can really start to bring in for this civilization. Speaking of food, the Rus do have the ability to get a landmark to get to the Castle Age that spawns deer. It's called the High Trade House. It can be placed on wood lines as well. Acts as a hunting cabin, so it can be passive gold generation that way. So some interesting mechanics to these two civilizations as we head into the 7th minute of the game almost. And economy upgrades coming in for B now. It's got wheelbarrow already, getting forestry and also horticulture. Here at the top right you can see forestry doubling the rate at which villagers chop down those trees, and the horticulture increasing the villager gathering rate of food by 15% for food sources other than hunted meat. We've got barracks as an opening for Beastie, looking to maybe get some spears. I wonder if he spotted that stable, because it will be some early nights coming out for 3DB and the Rus. And that mobility will certainly help him pressurize Beastie, but Beastie's he's no slouch at defending, as we see a lot of villagers go out on gold, and it does look like it's going to be a fast castle behind this for the Holy Roman Empire. Maybe looking to secure some of those relics. But look at this. We do see a villager coming out for B to wall this up, and he's keeping a scout on hand just to see if they get caught out. And this is a really nice play by B, because the fortified palisade wall is a unique type of palisade wall for the Rus. It's boosted. It has a much higher HP level. As you can see, 2,500 health there on these palisades. It takes a long time to burn through. And it's going to be walling up this relic, which is, well, this should have been a given really for the HRE. It's very close to the base, but it can take some time to get hold of that now for Beastie. He's also walling up the ones in the middle. And this is a nice play, because this is going completely uncontested by the naked fast castle for Beastyqt. And when we say naked, it means not physically naked. I'm sure Beastyqt is wearing something. It's more about the units. He doesn't actually have any military units on the field. I'll take the bags. I think he's got 2 spearmen actually, somewhere around the map. There is one there in the south, but relatively naked. There we are. There's the Regnitz Cathedral, building it with 10 villagers. Wants to get their quick time. Wants to get those prelates out in the field, and the knights therefore 3DB will help keep those prelates at home if you can. They're going to snipe this one villager. So first blood there drawn for 3DB, the first worker kill for the Rus. Spearman pushing away the scouts. Spearman does engage with this scout. B needs to react. He needs to pull that scout away. He's going to risk losing it. I think that scout will be lost. Villagers here gathering that meat on the deer carcasses, almost expiring, almost going away. That's something to bear in mind with the Holy Roman Empire, as we see the prelate inspiring. So the speed at which these villagers are gathering is boosted by 40%, and that is a significant amount. But it does also mean they run out of resources quicker. They chew through their food quicker, they chop down their wood quicker, they mine their gold quicker, and it means that they need to venture out into other parts of the map. That can leave them exposed. If we see some villagers going to look to try and burn this fortified palisade wall down, that's going to take a significant period of time. These are a lot of villagers that have been brought out. 11 of them. That is a significant amount of idle time, and 3DB probably won't mind this, because this gives him the opportunity to start building up. He's going to be going to the next age, to the Castle Age, with the High Trade House himself. In a very nice position. As you can see, the influence here is going to be capturing a lion's share of 2 major chunks of wood lines, and that's going to be a lot of gold coming in for free, passively from this landmark. Almost burning through, but at what cost? The cost is a lot of villager idle time. But the relic over time, as the game progresses, this will certainly pay itself back, because of course the Regnitz Cathedral, it does double the amount of gold that brings in from each relic. Boosts it by 100%. Now, it has picked up that relic on the west. Certainly did well to delay things, that palisade wall. Has palisade walled the others as well. And what's interesting is that 3DB now should be able to secure these relics. There's 4 of them still on the map, and they should all belong to the Rus. That's like Beastie might be looking to challenge them now, though. Heading north. Horse archers coming out. Now, I have to say, horse archers, we've been seeing them a lot recently in Age of Empires 4, and I'm just not really a fan. They just seem to be very much an underwhelming unit. Of course, they've got good mobility and good speed, but the damage output isn't all that great, and they seem to melt quite easily to archers. Got 12 bow ranged attack. So they're certainly being quite popular. They are very prone to being poked down by these spearmen. That is the cautious aspect of things that B needs to be making sure he's paying attention to. Must not lose sight and track of where these horse archers are. One bad engagement against spearmen, and these guys go down incredibly fast. And does pull away from that engagement now. Of course, archers themselves aren't too exposed against spearmen on their own. So, whilst the mobility comes in with the horse archers, they are a little bit more prone to being taken apart by the spearmen if they can get hold of them. As you can see, those two archers barely did that much damage really to that spearman. Really do need a big mass of them. Will be Castle Age Knights versus Castle Age Knights. Warrior Monk picking up the relic. That's a bad idea. I think if Beastyqt spots that, he'll go right there. I think he's going to be able to escape with that relic though. And that's key. Okay, so the Rus will be able to get that relic just in time. Needs to be careful though not to actually take the relic outside the palisade walls unless he's absolutely sure that he'll be able to get it. As we can see, look, a loss of a horse archer there, quite cheaply there for 3DB. One relic will be coming in for 3DB. Now he's going to try and torch this down, Beastie, and try and pick up this relic. Does have two prelates there. Horse archer, knight charging into the horse archer. One relic banked in for the Rus, and here we see, look at that. A couple of these units just melting to the spearmen. Bad engagement on the retreat there for B. No, the warrior monk is bringing it out. There's no need. The palisade wall still has more than half the health, almost, and that warrior monk is going to go down. The prelate's going to pick it up, and that was a freebie. B giving away a relic there. Precious relic for the HRE. That is less than ideal. You can see the horse archer getting caught out. The spearman able to chase. The prelate does go down, but there are another two prelates there for Beastyqt to pick up that relic. And, HRE is struggling here a little bit. The military numbers not really working out in his numbers. Again, another horse archer goes down, and another. We talked about it. 3 horse archers gone down for free, and B is just being a bit reckless with his units. Willow coming off. Warrior monk taking that relic elsewhere. The warrior monk won't be fast enough to get away. The knights chase it down, and you could just see the army value really starting to climb there for Beastyqt. Destruction value for Beastyqt. Look at that, 2,780, and I think that's coming down to the freebie units that he's been gathering by killing these horse archers that have gone astray. I think so. An awkward waypoint there for B. An awkward rally point. B has lost a lot of units for free. Both players on equal village accounts though. This warrior monk looking to try and pick up this relic. Must not do it. Needs to try and escape with his life if he can. Looks like he will. With a couple of turnings. The wrong turnings. Oh, he backs into woodlands and gets slaughtered. Relic there looking to make away with that relic. Wallow coming off. The units have to move away from the area there for 3DB. And the spearman numbers are really starting to build up. 26 of them. That is more than enough to push that army away of cavalry. This is the issue. The horse archers can't really stand and fight here. Archers could. We do see militia coming out, 20 of them. Group of them going to take an engagement against the knights. Beastyqt not reacting to it just yet. These militia have 40 seconds to live. Sexot has been capped as well. Sexot hasn't actually been capped for B. A little bit of an oversight because he could be gathering gold there for free, and the relic now is garrisoned inside that outpost for Beastie on the front of his base, protecting that farmland. And this is a key bit of detail. While he is in the Castle Age, of course, he doesn't have cannon emplacements. But when he does get to the Imperial Age, I'm sure Beastyqt will get cannon emplacements in his outpost. The cannon placements are so strong. Now the rules for Golden League in this set and this weekend is that you cannot produce or build stone walls or castles or keeps. But he's got outposts and he's got cannon emplacements and outposts, so that'll be more than enough for static defenses for Beastyqt. Warrior Monk goes down, picking up that relic, and oh, that is a problem. B needs to rescue that relic. He needs to get it fast because Beastie might bounce. Standing the army there with the prelate there in behind. Yeah, B needs to get a warrior monk there, and he needs to get it fast. He's going to get there, but with 2 relics already in the bank for Beastie, that is a significant number. Another horse archer goes down for free. I just feel like B was in such a strong position, having control of 4 of the 5 relics. He gave one away, lost a lot of horse archers, and slowly but surely this game is turning into the favour of the Holy Roman Empire. Look at the food income coming in, 1,600, and climbing as the farming transition continues. Horse archers, when they stop, they're getting poked and prodded by the spears. The spears are going to be doing great work if they engage. He engages with the knights. That is not ideal. He doesn't lose him. Well, he loses a horse archer again. but he manages to run away for now. But a lot of weak health units. A couple of lance connector there as well for the Holy Roman Empire, I think. Will do a lot of area effect damage. He should be able to move away from these spearmen, and he does. But yeah, those archers just seem very underwhelming at the moment. A couple of knights raiding, forcing idle time from the second town centre. Village count really starting to build up, 83 to 77. I'm not sure how many villagers this knight's killed. These two knights, because they seem to have done a lot of damage. Villager lead heading in the way of Beasty at the moment. And he's fully walled up behind this. The two knights charge in. Going to pick off another two villagers, you feel. Knights for the Rus will be challenging this. Does pick off one, but another villager will go down. And that is a decent raid there for Beastyqt and his Holy Roman Empire. Warrior Monk going on the northern sacred site, but could be denied. And this could have been a nice bit of gold coming in passively, and it will be denied. Two spearmen and a lance connector push the Warrior Monk off that sacred site. Oh, and this is a problem. This outpost has 7 villagers garrisoned inside, and these villagers are going to be completely exposed when that wooden fortress gets chopped down. Knight does get taken apart on the back of the lines there, but look at this idle time being caused just by one lance connector and 2 spearmen, causing all those villagers to have to come off of gold. Wooden fortress goes down on the west side of the map. Villagers are running for their lives. Oh, the army actually gets pulled away there for Beasty. I think he's going for the handicap. I'm not sure. That might have been a misclick. Villagers are very fortunate to survive for now. Horse archers and army coming in for the rescue party. They want to save these villagers. They want to save their family members. 2 knights will perish. The army there for Beasty might look to engage this actually. 59 to 43 military counts for both. Outpost coming up on the field here for Beasty at some point. Got it queued up. Oh, and an army coming on the right side. This is key. The army there for Beasty just kind of distracting B for a little bit, you feel. Just want it takes an engagement. A knight perishes for free. B just losing units left, right and centre here. And it's just something that Beastyqt's not been doing. Beastyqt keeps his units alive at this game so far. Sending army on the right side as well. Beasty might look to attack from that position. Warrior Monks looking to heal up those units though for the Rus. Quite a few weak ones, and the horse archers just tickling against the knights. They need to focus on the spears ideally. This might be a stand and fight situation. B might look to take the engagement. Another knight goes down for free. There's just too many knights, too many units for B dying. Militia coming out. Militia will hold this front line. They'll tank a lot of damage for free. Knights engage against the spearmen. Horse archers on the back line looking to focus fire on the spearmen. Can they do it though? Lance connector falls. It should be a good cleanup for B, but at what cost? A lot of HP will be taken off the knights. The knights generally do quite well against the spears, and if they have a decent number of them. Now the army surviving for B. He has to head back. A knight there. Ooh, doing a lot of raiding damage, picking off a lot of weak units for free. And that wood line is exposed. 72 villagers to 99. 3DB is struggling to keep the opponent outside of his base. Farming economy idled. And this is a key bit of difference. Beastyqt is fully walled up back at home. There's no real way to be raided by 3DB's army, and that's key because 3DB did have a lot of mobility, and that's been nullified because the mobility now can't mean that he raids because of the palisade walls that have gone up. Beastyqt though getting it behind enemy lines. Going to keep a large army here on the east side. Oh, this is smart. This is so smart. Look at this. He's actually pulling away a large chunk of his army away, fooling B potentially. B might think this is the whole army. Actually one knight hiding around at the back of the base. This knight might be looking for stray villagers. Going to the Imperial Age now, Beastyqt. He snuck that one up, and he's going to go up with the Elsbach Palace in the middle of the field, in the middle of the basin, which acts as a keep. 50% plus health. All buildings within the influence take 33% less damage. That is a key bit of landmark. It's going to protect that central sacred site. It offers a staging ground to attack from. The army there for Beasty will be thrown away somewhat, but look at this, a knight hiding on this gold vein, denying this gold vein. The moment 3DB decides to move villagers there, they will struggle, and that's exactly what happens. He's actually put down the blueprint for a mining camp. Villagers will be popping out, and there's quite a significant number of them. There's 14 of them, and he's getting attack notifications here B from other parts of the map. If he doesn't spot this, that could be a massacre just for one knight. Peeling away that one knight was so crucial for Beasty. Let's just see what happens. Could be a massacre. Does the knight get aggroed? Doesn't just yet. Beasty, would he look back? 3DB has not spotted this. If he did, I think he would have retreated with those villagers. If he not spotted it, neither has Beasty. It's probably just a matter of seconds. There it is. Beasty spots it. and he forces those villagers back off. He might not get as many kills as he would have liked, but he has caused a lot of idle time. All because of one unit. Palisade walls have been put up there by B, but one segment was on fire. Villagers again, idle time, going back to gold. B needs a response. He needs to take care of the knights. He hasn't. He's going back to gold without safety. Going to try and garrison inside the town centre. It's going to be veteran horsemen. Looks like elite upgrade might be on the way too. That is indeed the case. Elite horsemen on the way. Look at the food count coming in. 2,200 food per minute for the HRE. Units were lost underneath the cannon emplacements of the Elsbach Palace. B running forward now to try and cause some pressure. Does have a large military number. I think he lost quite a bit underneath the Elsbach Palace. Going to try and torch down this gate. Outpost with Spriggan replacement doing great work. Should be able to pick off another warrior monk. Ooh, just about survives, but won't survive the next attack. Goes down on the west side. That's where the gold is coming in there for Beastyqt, in addition to the sacred site and the 2 relics. Again, the sacred site only just now being capped, 23 minutes into the game almost. Horse Archer army coming in from the east, 12 of them. Big engagement. Going to be elite horsemen tanking the fight with the spearmen. Beastyqt just saving the gold. Look at the difference in gold in the bank. Almost 3,000 gold there for Beasty. Only 276 for Rus and 3DB. The problem for Rus and 3DB is still in the Castle Age. No real way to get to that Imperial Age just for now. He needs to do some damage. And even if he does get to Imperial Age, he doesn't have much gold in the bank. What would he do with it? Streltsy is an option. There's an incredibly strong late game unit for the Rus. It's a very gold heavy unit as well, and can be difficult to mass up with this slow training times. And that's all not really in favour for B at the moment. Warrior Monk healing up those knights, tanking the damage. This might quieten down for a little bit. Beastyqt is walled up again behind all of this, and is looking to get cannon emplacements. He's got cannon emplacement in this outpost already, and I could almost bet you that he would in this. Yeah, it looks like he has. That's a key bit of detail. His farming economy completely protected. He's actually bringing the relic out of that outpost, pushing it into the forward one, anticipating an attack, and that attack is coming in now. 44 military to 32, 2,500 gold coming in per minute for Beasty is absolutely phenomenal. Going to try and challenge the sacred site. Trouble for B is that this is Imperial Age army versus Castle Age army. Make no mistake about it, if B engages now, he will lose the fight and possibly the game. There's just no way to fight Castle Age units versus Imperial Age units. Not to mention the blacksmith upgrades for Imperial Age must come in as well. Villagers on gold are exposed, but army's chasing. There's just too much army there for B to engage. B is starting to finally get those palisade walls up, may look to try and boom behind. The trouble for B is that he's so far behind in economy. 98 villagers to 124, that's not a position he wants to be in. You can see another notification of cannon emplacements coming in. Lance Connector charging forward. These are elite Lance Connector. Beastyqt affording everything here under the sun. Beasty does need to back away from that fight for now at least, but he's heading in with reinforcements. Here's the engagement. Lance Connector trying to push the issue. Horseman diving in a little bit. And it will be the High Armory. The landmark of choice for the rest to get to that Imperial Age. Lance Connector being focused down by the archers, certainly the right move. Horseman, elite horseman diving on the archers. The trouble for B, he has to retreat. He's lost a lot of units. I think B still will sense the Imperial Age coming in for B. It was Imperial Age army versus Castle Age army. Villagers on gold, very exposed. B hasn't reacted just yet. We'll let them survive by pulling in behind the gate. Trouble for 3DB now is the potential for Beasty to gain map control. Just push forward. He can't drop a keep, but he can drop outposts. That's the key differential here. You know that Beastyqt loves putting down outposts, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more on the map. As he does now start to gain map control 26 minutes into the game. And that map control is really granted by the fact that B has had to get an age up. It is a bit of a clean up there for B. Beasty won't mind though, because what this has allowed Beasty to do is start to creep up with outposts on the right side of the map. Gonna try and burn down the palisades potentially. Decent number of man-at-arms. The number of man-at-arms that are on the field for Beasty is a problem for the Rus. They need to get more knights and more crossbows. It's getting a decent amount of gold coming in now though. 1,300 there for Rus and 3DB, but it's almost half the amount that Beasty's bringing in. There is that Imperial Age. He's going to need some siege as well, because the siege for Beasty's coming forward with the bombards. Outpost coming up on the central sacred site. Oh, big raid here on the villagers on gold. Nothing to protect them for the Rus, and we'll take a couple of villages, but most importantly is idle time, denying gold. For any period of time is huge here for Beasty, and it's getting more outposts on the stone. And this is looking dicey for Bees. Almost 40 villages behind, 30 villages behind. 2 bombards coming forward. Army keeping them busy here in the north. On the west, gathering more stone, more outposts. And these guys will have cannon emplacements. The range and field of vision for Beasty will be huge now. Burns through the palisade walls. Let's take a look at that field of vision. He looks... oh my god, he basically sees the whole map. It's pretty phenomenal. Army dives in. 50 army versus 49. The trouble for B is that his army has... whilst it has been up... he has got Imperial Age rather. He's still fighting with Castle Age units. Drums are coming out. We need to build up a large mass of these units, but they are being poked and prodded by, well, spearmen. And that'll be a nice trade there for Beastyqt, just food and wood units versus gold units. Nice pushing away the spearman lance connector, but there's a lot of infantry on the field for the Holy Roman Empire. Palisade walls will go up, but that palisade will go down instantaneously almost. 2 bombards on the field. Yeah, it won't take long, even with the fortification for the Rus on those palisade walls. Just get shredded. 2 bombards. Gonna make short work of the static defenses. Army's starting to build up though for B. He probably wants to take a decisive fight. He needs to take a decisive fight. And again, he's getting pushed off of gold. So gold income still pretty strong here for 3DB. I think it's this patch here. 21 villagers on that gold vein. Slowly but surely, Beastyqt pushing the issue, and the key bit of detail is, well, Beastyqt's eco has not been idled at all for the last 20 minutes or so. He wants to get an elite knight upgrade. Ooh, bombards. Beasty a bit reckless there with the bombards. Sent them forward, nothing to protect them, and they will go down. But he probably just wants to reset and fight underneath these towers. The trouble for B is the culverin. That'll be an issue to deal with, especially with these outposts now bringing in cannon replacements in them. It's not an ideal fight. Oh, cannon replacements just about to be deployed here. Cavalry will be going down. Ooh, villagers on gold here being pressured. Outpost looking to be put up there by Beasty. That'll give him so much control of the map. 2 gold veins being denied. This is kind of the only safe gold that B can take, and that's constantly being pressured by units. Now the Streltsy are there on hand to guard. The trouble for B is, how does he push out with these cannon emplacement outposts? Slowly but surely the creeping continues. Another outpost on this gold vein. This being denied is huge. 2,000 gold almost there. Knights will charge at the villagers. Not really a problem because the outpost will go up. Also, a sizable chunk of gold here. And it looks like Beastyqt is going to take it. Beastyqt is known for this, taking resources off the opponent. Now, we'll be bleeding him dry of gold. You can see only 300 gold in the bank for B. Beastyqt is sitting at almost 2,000. Getting all the upgrades he can muster. Court Architects, increasing the health of all buildings. That is significant. These guys have been fortified. These outposts have been fortified, but it's also getting Court Architects, increasing it by another 30%. These guys will be super tanky. Look at that, 2,450 health. That's pretty insane. Just been upgraded to 3,185 as the army diving in now. 61 of them with elite knights coming in. Some number of Streltsy, but probably not enough. They need to really defend this position. Looks like 3DB might be tapping out soon because he's under all sorts of pressure. Has been behind in the economy for a long time now. In this game number 1, in this best of 3, the Golden League 2. Knights are charging in. These are still Castle Age Knights. Bear that in mind. They'll still pack a punch, but I feel like he needs to be swinging it a bit harder because B is slowly losing grip in this game. More outposts coming in. Streltsy heading forward. We're going to perhaps dive underneath the 2 towers. The 2 towers don't yet have cannon emplacements, but it will be coming in. Only a matter of 42 seconds. And Beastyqt, he's just hold for 42 seconds. A lot of the Streltsy will be going down soon. Bombards catching a couple of units on the retreat. There it is. There's the tap out. 3DB knows he's beaten in game number 1 on Basin. Beastyqt has taken the first game as we head into game number 2. Let's check it out. Welcome back. Game number 2 is on Dry Arabia. In the south corner of the map, we've got 3DB playing in red as the Ottomans, going up against Beastyqt, of course, in the north as the Delhi in yellow. Welcome to Dry Arabia, game number 2. And well, it's match point in the best of 3. Beastyqt just needs to win one more game and he will be progressing to the next round of Golden League and also knocking out B. B, on the other hand, though, will want to say something about that. He wants to pressurize in this game, try and get a game back in this set, and is going to try and do that, opening up with an instant military score. Heading out those spearmen, going to look to try and deny key resources for the Delhi Sultanate. Interesting civilization matchup. Both civilizations can be very strong in the feudal age. I suspect it's going to be a heavy, scrappy feudal age affair here, but with the sacred sites potentially being taken by the Delhi Sultanate. 3 of them on the map, of course. And that's something that the Ottomans will want to try and deny. They could be pretty good at doing it with the military schools and the military buildings they can make. Delhi Sultanate can often mass up a large army in the feudal age to try and protect those sacred sites. A lot of sheep coming in there for Beastie, which is pretty nice. Obviously taking advantage of the fact that the Delhi do get a bonus on the berry bushes, gathering faster, but also increasing the amount of bushes, the berries on the bush, when the mill is placed around it, and that means that he can keep the scout out and about for longer, doesn't need to bring sheep back home, even though he did, probably on the pathing of that scout. Made it simple for him, but he could keep that scout out and about for quite a long time, gathering plenty of sheep. Not as many on the scout there, chasing for 3DB and the Ottomans. Struggling with sheep here, actually. Going to be sending the spearmen forward, and looks like it's going to be the Tower of Victory coming out for Beastyqt, that landmark. We don't see it all that often, but we're seeing it now. This landmark enables the units, the infantry units, to have an attack speed bonus of 20%. And something that we see 3DB rather do a lot. Pretty excited to see this build for Beastie as it goes up against the Ottomans. It's going to be Twin Minaret Madrasa, the landmark of choice for the feudal age for 3DB. Acts as the mill, but also spawns some berries, and those berries are boosted up in terms of gathering speed by 50%. Scholar comes out to heal up the villagers and trying to fight away the spearmen. Bit of early aggression, early bit of annoyance. But other than the spearman, not a lot else going on at this stage of the game. Only up to 4 minutes now, as a second spearman does come across the map. Also want to say the channel has actually hit 6,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you for everyone who's supporting the channel. And if you do enjoy the content, think about subscribing to the channel, because of course, well, it's hopefully going to be giving you a lot more good content for Age of Empires 4, of course. There it is. There's that age up there for 3DB. Quickly followed by the age up for Beastyqt. Gonna go for a second mosque, often done because, of course, going with the Tower of Victory, you omit the possibility of going for the Dome of the Faith, which produces the scholars cheaper. And obviously you still want to produce those scholars for the Delhi Sultanate. They are very dependent on those scholars garrisoned inside the mosque. That will be because their research times for these eco-uptechs, these eco-techs rather, is that's the only way to quicken them up. They are free for the Delhi, which is quite a nice little bit of a bonus. It does take some time for it to come in. And the only way to quicken it up is with those scholars. Gonna get a blacksmith as well to start queuing up the blacksmith upgrades. Them do still keep trickling in, just annoying these villagers really more than anything. And only 3 villages on stone. That suggests that rather than a second town centre, it's going to be a second military school for the Ottomans. It has been toggled to Sipahi. Sipahi all coming on the field for that mobility, looking to get some early aggression on the field, I suspect. But things are pretty passive for now. 2 civilizations that do take a bit of time to get going, but it's a bit more of a timing attack situation for the Ottomans. Because once they get rolling, they do start rolling. Same with the Delhi Sultanate in some ways with the efficient production upgrade that they can get. It's currently researching sanctity, but efficient production means that scholars can also garrison inside production buildings, and that will increase the production speed of those buildings as well. So both civilizations do get that bonus of increasing the production speed of their production buildings. And the blacksmith is the culprit there for the Ottomans, because of, you can see the influence there. Production buildings in the influence of the blacksmith will have increased production speed. As a second military school is looking to be built now for B, looking to get those free units. Really taking advantage of the bonus for the Ottomans. Vizier point comes out. I wonder what he's going to get. It's going to be the 2 imams. You see him do this a lot here, 3DB, to heal up weakened units. Speaking of healing up weakened units, that's something that the Delhi Sultanate have been known to do a lot with the scholar production, the mass scholar production that we can see with Delhi sometimes. But curious to see how this one pans out, because no real revealing of the hands of strategies just yet. Stable opening and an archery range for Beasty to match fire with fire. The trouble with the Ottomans is you can't really tell what they're producing. From the military schools, of course. The military school is now getting a meta, a unique unit for the Ottomans, a war drummer that can enhance the military, whether it be attack speed, melee armor, or ranged armor. Double archery range coming out there for 3DB. Quite commonly done for the Ottomans. They do like to mass up their archers. 2 scholars coming out to heal up those units, those villagers. A second archery range coming out. It looks like the scholars are going to garrison inside the mosque rather than the stable for now. They do pop out again, so maybe they're looking to go inside the stable. But yep, that is indeed the case. You just see 1 scholar popping inside that stable. That will boost up the production speed of the stable now. Sipahi looking to just catch off the scout on retreat. Won't be able to do too much more damage. Archers fire off on the retreat for the Sipahi. 2 imams and a spearman inside the stealth forest, giving B a little bit of vision. Not really a fight that B can comfortably take. Might lose the Sipahi. And Beastyqt keeping a scholar there on the front lines with those army units as well. Heal them up as they fight. Things going to start to slowly heaten up, I think. Looks like palisade walls coming out for the Delhi Sultan. Now the infantry can build that for Delhi and Beasty. Looking to get the central sacred site. That would be a nice bit of gold trickle coming in for Delhi. See another horseman pop out. Archers queued up nice and quickly for the Delhi. 16 military to 13, but with the drummer behind the meta, that could do some damage. Oh, the Sipahi diving in a little bit too far deep. I'm not sure why. 2 imams coming forward for B as well. Might get caught out here a little bit. B might be a bit wasteful for imams. He does lose 1. He does. That's not great because he can't actually train anymore at this point. Not until he reaches the castle age. I'm not sure why B dived in there. Again, you just feel in this set so far, B's just been a bit more reckless with his units. Lost a few units for free that Beastyqt just doesn't seem to be doing today. 3 Sipahi and the meta heading eastwards, looking to try and get some value. As the central sacred site now is capped by Beasty, will be slowly generating that gold, and I wonder whether Beastyqt will keep that gold for a castle age timing, whether he will continue just to produce scholars and fund it with those sacred site gold coming in. As a double stable comes out, a second stable. So it looks like Beastyqt is going to be staying in the feudal age for quite some time. It's going to play a very heavy feudal age with an extra production building being put down. Very equal on village counts. Very equal on military counts as well, but the scholar number's starting to build up here. We've got 5 in total at the moment. Continues to produce more. Spy diving in. Will be taking down 1 archer. Get much more value than that though. Has to head back. Quite a lot of army units here for Beasty. Another vizier point comes out for the Ottomans, and it could be another military school one. We can't actually necessarily tell. Not until he decides to place down a foundation for a military school, if he decides to do so. Villagers transitioning onto wood just to fund that archery range production, I suspect. Because it is now a triple archery range build for 3DB. So BC looking to try and get hold of the sacred site on the east, possibly on the west as well. Yeah, sending the army there. Bean might need to do something about this before the gold count starts to get out of hand. It is that 3rd military school, placed in a very awkward spot. It's actually in the influence. I mean, yeah, it is actually. It is just about in the influence. House there was being a bit awkward. Left side is sacred site being capped now. 4 scholars there. And on the east. That's being captured too. That's actually a problem for B. He needs to start challenging this. That does open a win condition for the Delhi. Sacred site victory could be an option. A little bit more tricky to do that on Dry Arabia, especially against a civilization as powerful as the Ottomans. Villagers, well, actually not villagers, they're archers, will be going down as they try to build the palisades. Palisade wall is denied on the right side. Looks like that will be decapped. Scholar goes down. Wasn't that many military units here. The military is actually on the west. The army on the east there is cleared up, but with 3... Wait, he actually got... Yeah, he actually capped that sacred site. It needs to be decapped now. Yeah, and look at this. Beastyqt is spending all the gold he has. What is he spending it on? It's got to be scholars, and it is. He's actually got 8 scholars at the moment. This could lead to a very awkward fight in the middle. The scholars being the MVP unit. Barracks and stable production buildings denied here temporarily. That's not ideal for B. He might need to actually head home. Might be looking to be aggressive instead. The Sabahi heading, diving into the gold. They're going to cut off the gold supply. Scholars diving underneath the town centre with the horsemen and the archers there. Woodline being harassed. This is huge actually. Looks like Beastyqt is getting a lot more value. A lot more value in terms of idle time and villager. Taking them off resources, that's for sure. Now the army is heading back for Beasty, diving in and out a little bit, maybe a little bit cautious about the push coming in from the Ottomans. Might be looking to try and actually sandwich them. The Sabai heading on the front lines, the archers are behind with the Met there. I think Beastyqt might look to try and combine his forces, heading on the east, picking off some villagers on the deer pack, and that's not ideal for B. In fact, Beastyqt not heading home at all. He smells blood, especially with the number of scholars there. These units are just fully healed up, and the trouble with this number of scholars is that B will need to actually one-shot these units. Otherwise, they'll just get healed up again. Villagers, a lot of them, 25 idled for quite a bit of time, going on the southern wood line. And yeah, this is just gonna bide B a little bit of time. There's no way he wins that fight. Speaking of fight, there might be a bit of a fight here on the northwest. Going back in the south, it's kind of tentative. Both players have armies in each other's bases almost. Big difference is that there are a lot of scholars here for Beasty. As long as he doesn't lose the units, I mean that horseman will be healed up. You could say the same actually though for B. He does have an imam there, I think. The archers engage, looking to try and torch down the production buildings, but Beastyqt kind of split up his army into 2, has an army on the front but also at the back. Could come down to an important micro, but the issue is the scholars, I think. Scholar numbers really starting to build up. 14 of them on the field. Horsemen engaged there for Beasty, looking to try and being a meat shield, but the scholars there looking to have to try and heal up those archers, because the archers will be next after the horsemen go down for Delhi. Look at this. The horsemen just take so much damage. They're tanking so much damage from the archers as usual, but it's the healing coming into it as well. The army for B coming down to the south portion of Beastyqt's base, looking to try and do damage, but Beasty taking a much more favourable fight. And this is not great for B. He needs to pull back. He's looking to try and one-shot these archers, but not quite managing them. horseman there as well. The Sacred Site timer has been activated. 10 minutes now. On the east, the archers slightly caught out there a little bit. Horsemen do poke and prod at them. Sipahi acting as a meat shield. Archers on the back line there for Delhi with the scholars in behind. This is a bad fight for B, you feel, because the horsemen are being picked apart, but certainly taking their time, especially with the front line being healed up so fast. It looks like B does now start to clear this up. There's a lot of scholars here going to go down, actually. They're holding on. Look at the healing rates. It's so difficult for B to stop this. They're just healing up. This is just damage that Beasty's getting. Speaking of damage, though, a lot of the damage being done here. Scholars healing up the horsemen. It just takes so much for these archers to get kills. Scholar numbers will be starting to drop now. 13 of them. I say drop. It's only dropped by 1 or 2. And the horsemen, the defensive advantage here for Beasty with the reinforcements is great. Also, by trying to make a run and try and chase these 2 horsemen, chasing the method. Method must not stop. It has stopped. It will be taken apart. B just mismicroed there for a second. That's painful. Those archers now are unboosted. Speaking of unboosted, no real economy bonus here for the Ottomans, so it's going to have to really rely on the military scores to carry them through. Not a bad military building though. Heading northwards, B with the Ottomans. Needs to actually decap one of these sacred sites. They are all palisade walled up. The gate and the west palisade, this west sacred site rather, is on fire, so that will go down soon. But he's heading towards the east side as well. Neither player going to that castle age. I think neither player wants to blink first. Wow, that is a lot of scholars coming out. 12 of them in the main military hold there in the middle. Could come down to one big fight, and I wonder whether in that one big fight it will be the scholars that reign supreme. Have to see. Sipahi trying to torch down the gate on the east side. We'll get there through very soon. Horsemen cutting off reinforcements for the archers. R2 Sipahi. 3 more being added with the spearmen. Yeah, B will clear this up, but did lose a couple of archers on the retreat. I say clear it up actually. Beasty will be able to run away from that fight. Doesn't have to engage. No real need to. Alright. B a little bit ahead on military. A little bit ahead on economy as well. Oh, getting a lot of villager picks here. Or at least idle time. Oh, Sipahi catching the villagers who are in the stealth forest. And the main thing is the archers. Beasty's still going on the deer though. There are a lot of scholars. This is the big fight we're waiting for. I think it's coming soon. So many scholars. 16 of them. That's the problem for B. He'll need to one-shot units, otherwise they just get healed up. Villagers on berries being picked apart. Textiles must be in. Might not even lose a villager. Might lose 1 or 2. Doesn't actually lose a single villager. That is the power of textiles, ladies and gentlemen. Looking to neutralize the central sacred site now. In the south, outposts are looking to defend the deer pack now. 2 horsemen trying to get some value. Looks like sacred site is going to be decapped soon, although the Sipahi has actually moved off the sacred site. That's not ideal. Started torching, moved back on, but it's too late. That army will be coming forward soon and keeping hold of that sacred site. Sipahi raiding here in the northeast. Sipahi heading on the west. I think the trouble for the Ottomans here is that the army is kind of split up, looking to try and chase those sacred sites. The same cannot be said about the Delhi. He's kept most of his army the same. Spearman engage against the horsemen. That is a bad fight for Beasty. He needed to turn around. He does lose 2 horsemen and a lot of HP. That's actually not a big deal because that HP will be returning very, very quickly with this number of scholars on the field. They just need to stop what they're doing and heal up. Looks like the fight is brewing, a big one. Looks like it might happen now, right in the middle of the field, and the horsemen are going to try and chase down the scholars, but the archers turn around and fire. Horsemen are diving in too. Fire needs to tank this, but I think the fight might be dictated, won or lost, by the number of scholars there. There are 22 scholars. But the number of archers that the Ottomans have, especially with the meta, they are one-shotting these units, and that is key because it looks like it's only going to be scholars left behind. B, focus firing on the military, which is the right thing to do, really. Especially with this number of archers. Number of military is still pretty strong there for Beasty, but they just not seem to be here. A lot of horsemen still on the field. Now, with the archers heading in there, with the scholars on the back line, this is a problem for Ottomans actually, struggling a little bit to get rid of the horsemen. Needed more spears, but those spears that were there were already microed down by Beasty. Another spear does pop out though. So 3B might be starting to focus fire on the scholars, probably the right thing to do, because if the scholars get into an unreasonable amount of numbers, then it will start to become impossible. But it looks like Ottoman's going to punish this. They're going to push forward. Military numbers starting to dwindle for Beasty and Delhi. The archer numbers in the choke point. Scholars are looking to try and survive as long as they can, to keep up the archer numbers as long as they can. I suspect before too long these archers will one-shot these imams. Once that happens, it's going to be curtains. Might be the beginning of the end here for Beasty. Yeah, he's certainly losing a lot of scholars now. Went from 22 to 12. Trouble is, if he focuses on the scholars, that means the archers there for Delhi will focus on his archers. He needs to keep his military alive. 3 horsemen there. Mehta is involved too. Looks like 3DB needs a bit more of a meat shield against the horsemen. Could be Sipahi. Oh, does lose another Mehta. We'll need another one here, 3DB, to take a good fight. Archers on archers, but don't forget the scholars are behind healing up a Beasty. That's not a fight that B wants to take right now. And he's going to head back home. Here come the Sipahi though, in the aid of those units. Gauges on the front lines. Archers behind might look to snipe the scholars. And if they can't, then the Sipahi will. Has better mobility. Just looks like not enough melee units here for Beasty, temporarily, at least. Archers engaging with the Ottomans. They really are focus firing and doing a lot of damage. Not many horsemen left. Sipahi engaging against the archers there for the Ottomans versus Delhi. And now with these scholars exposed, if the scholars start to go down, that could be a big end to this game, because the push will be coming after that. Yeah, the scholars are being one-shotted. That is the key bit of different detail. If the scholars weren't being one-shotted, that could be a different story. Now he's down to only 4. That is huge. In a straight-up fight now, the Mehta will win, although the Tower Victory will help these units a lot. Horsemen could play a very strong role here for Beasty. They are starting to go down, very low in health. Doesn't have the scholars on hand now to heal them up. They used to once upon a time. But not anymore. 47 military to 23. Mehta coming forward. Where does Beastyqt go from here? He's already established himself on the pocket economy. He's protected them well with the outposts. Meant that Ottomans couldn't raid, which is actually a very strong point of theirs. With this number of archers, how does Beasty find a response? It's under all sorts of pressure. 52 military to 25. It looks like this might be the beginning of the end. Because, yeah, this military numbers are starting to struggle to deal with. 2 methods as well. Double trouble. Beasty will need to snipe those 2 methods before he can take a meaningful engagement. 58 military to 31. That tells you a picture in itself. It looks like Beastyqt is standing up, standing tall, standing firm for one last fight. Looks like that last fight might be coming soon though. At least you'd hope it would be the case if you're the Ottomans. The Ottomans will not want to give an inch for the Delhi here. No chance to help him for him to reboom. If he does, it'll be dangerous. Looks like Ottomans are heading back though, towards the east. Scholars out of position a little bit. Horsemen diving in. The archers on the back line should be able to pick off the horsemen. Quite a decent number of archers. Here come the scholars. Here come the archers for Delhi. They weren't away for too long. 3DB backtracking now with his army. Looking to live to fight another day. Military numbers really starting to build up again for Beasty though. 43 to 59. I'm sure efficient production has something to do with that. Alright, Rams are coming out for 3DB. He smells blood. He doesn't want to let the game linger on too long, just in case Delhi decide to go to the Castle Age. Doesn't look like that will happen anytime soon though. Not with the resource count they have. Splitting off the army, the archers head north, Sipahi head west. I think Sipahi are chasing something. Yeah, Sipahi are chasing the horsemen. Let's just see what's happening with the archers on the front line, with the Ramen behind, and the Mehta, of course. There are villages, there were villages exposed there on the east, but they're not anymore. Gold is being denied. That is actually quite huge. Denying gold is super important, and Delhi don't have another gold in the immediate vicinity. They have one in the north of the map, but without gold, that means no more scholars. It means no more taking up to the Castle Age. Things are starting to snowball. 73 military versus 55. 69 eco versus 63. Back at home, I suspect we'll see a lot of production buildings. Indeed the case. Spy chasing down the horsemen. Archer's going to be focusing on archers, but the meta involved. 2 rams coming out as well. That'll force villagers to come out to try and torch it down. There are no other melee units there for Beastie. Looking to make this set even up here. We shall see if he manages to do it. Horsemen diving in. The horsemen do have bonus attack damage on the rams. They're focusing on the units instead. Couldn't blame him. He needs to try and get rid of the archer mass. The archer mass looking a bit too strong. Reinforcements coming in with the Sipahi and the meta. There's a significant army here, 71 on the field. Horsemen are all but dwindling there for Beastie. Just leaves the archers. 3 rams headed forward, but they are being pushed back. Trouble for Beastie now is going to get surrounded by the Sipahi on the front line. The archers in behind. And there's no scholars to heal up. Another batch of about 6 Sipahi diving in. Those numbers are looking very healthy. 22 Sipahi versus 23 archers. I know exactly what I would want. The Sipahi going to dive in here. Going to fight underneath the town centre. Archers are behind, picking up the archers that are straggling behind. Villagers on the woodline go down as well. 60 eco to 73. Very hard farming transition for Beastie. That really hurt him. Wouldn't have been able to keep up production of units by spending the wood on the farms. And those are idled, most of them at least, or a decent number of them. Villagers garrison inside the town centre. They'll do a bit of damage, but the rams coming in thick and fast. And that's the problem. Beastyqt taps out. B evens up the set. We're going to a game number 3. This set is really heating up. Don't go anywhere, guys. We've got the series finale, the last game in the set, coming right up. Okay, welcome back. Game number 3, the series finale. Winner takes all, progresses to the next round of Golden League. We've got 3DB on the west side of the map, in red, playing as the Chinese. Of course, going up against Beastyqt in the east, in yellow as the Rus. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the pit. Last and final map of this series. Been an exciting one. The Chinese versus the Rus. The Chinese, often a very versatile civilization, can often go for the Song Dynasty eco type approach. Can be pretty aggressive as well. Potentially with Zhugnu in the feudal age. The Rus, also a relatively aggressive feudal age civilization. They can be very, very strong in the super late game as well with the Streltsy units. And with the hunting cabin giving them passive gold generation, that can certainly help. Talking about gold though, we do have the Imperial Official that can pick up taxes from the mill and other drop-off points. And it's something we need to keep an eye on because that will be able to help 3DB to get to that next stage. And the stakes are high in this one. The final game of this best of 3. Both players playing decently well in the last 2 games. I have to say, Beastie seemed to keep his units alive a little bit better than 3DB, but in the last game, the Ottomans versus the Delhi, with the Scholar Showdown, it did seem 3DB is kind of warming up to the set, and this could be... Well, it's very important he warms up to the set because this is the final game of the set, and he needs to make sure this game counts. As he sends a villager eastwards, I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe starting to wall up, trade, I don't know. Kind of an awkward one to see a forward villager going there. Gonna have to take care of 2 wolves, that's a bit of an awkward one. Might not be able to fend off 2 wolves at the same time. What's he going to do? He is going to fight it off. I'm not sure that's wise. He does kill 1 wolf. And look to try and kill the other. He'll be able to survive. He's actually microing this pretty well. Okay, he will survive killing the wolf, I think. Yeah, going to use the arrow and then take... Wait a minute. He didn't stab. He didn't do the stabby. Did now, but that was a lot of idle time on this villager. What that villager is doing, I'm not so sure. And it's going to head back. Well, that's awkward for B, that's for sure. A lot of idle time for no real reason. Don't know if it was a misclip, a misrally there, but in any case, he's picking up the tax from the mill, dropping off at the town centre. Oh, he's going for the... Of course, it makes sense. He was actually killing the wolves. He wanted to deny the bounty. Because, of course, the Rus can actually kill those huntables, the deer, the wolves, the boar, and get bounty from it. And that's actually what it was. Whether it was worth it or not, I'm not entirely sure because, well, one of the options for the landmarks in Castle Age for the Rus is the High Trade House, which spawns deer, which gives you bounty. In any case, it does stop that little bit of trickle that he would have got in early on if he had killed those wolves. It's going to be the Kremlin. It's going to be protecting the gold, berries, and the woodline. A really nice spot here. That's important because it means that the Chinese can't really do any early aggression, really. Not going to be able to be attacking this area all too well, and so it's going to have to be a booming approach, I suspect. It does appear to be that case with the Imperial Academy, going to be able to produce more Imperial officials to supervise these villages. What's exciting is that we might see the Kremlin gremlins, the militia coming out of the Kremlin to attack and cause some havoc in the Chinese base. We'll see. Heading into the 4th and 5th minute of the game, we do see the strategy starting to emerge with the landmark choices, Imperial Academy and Kremlin. Villagers going out on the west side, going to be looking to get a Barbican of the Sun on the deer pack and the wood, protecting that left side of the base, and the gold as well to some extent. Well, to a large extent as well, at least. And then we'll be getting that Song Dynasty, faster producing villagers from the town centre. Be interesting to see if it goes any greedier for a second town centre or not. I wouldn't have thought so, we shall see. But with now the Song Dynasty coming in, this will actually unlock the ability to produce Zhuge-Nu. This could be a strong unit for Chinese and 3DB today in this match. About to run out of sheep, I suspect, pretty soon. Beastyqt almost up to the next stage. Not quite there yet. See, this hunting cabin getting 39 gold per minute, not too shabby. Song Dynasty comes in at the same time as Beastyqt gets to the next stage. I'm going to open up with a stable. 2 Kremlin gremlins coming out immediately, looking to try and harass. We'll see where they kind of go towards, and it's going to be stable. We're going to get a knight relatively soon, I suspect, from this stable. Again, applying the pressure early. Kremlin gremlins, here they come. Where will they go? Now the trouble for B is that, well, the Kremlin gremlins should be able to attack the wood line. No static defenses here, no Kremlin of his own. The Barbican and Sun is actually away from the wood line. I suspect these gremlins will be heading in there. 48 seconds left on their lives, and gonna need some micro here for B. Might need to pull the villagers away, might need to fight, but fighting is not ideal because with good micro, Beastie will just pull them away. He pulls the villagers, causes some idle time. Kremlin gremlins do get shot at by the town centre a little bit, just a smidge. Gonna focus on the Imperial official. Poking and prodding them. Oh, takes a big shot there from the town centre, and a Zhuge-Nu pops out. Gonna be taking care of those militia. Causing idle time more than anything. Decent amount of idle time. What? Wait. Is he going to pick off an Imperial official? That would be pretty bad for B. No, it doesn't. Zhuge-Nu deals with it. The second Zhuge-Nu popped out right now, and it does look like, well, it looks like B is going to be possibly aggressive. We'll see. Doesn't help, though, that he's going to be facing up against a knight. The Zhuge-Nu will need to be in a mass to be able to take that fight. And we see another second hunting cabin and a third, and this is the issue, that the risk can be pretty decent on the pit, getting a decent amount of gold coming in. And a castle age behind that could spell all sorts of trouble. Should be able to snipe a villager here. Ooh, fight back. We'll need to get barracks. The threat of these knights is very real. Archers being followed up with. The problem with getting barracks is the spears will be sniped by the archers. Might be just a full Zhuge-Nu play with the +1 attack. It's actually very important getting that +1 attack. Does a lot of increased damage with those Zhuge-Nu projectiles. But it does look like, I mean, let's take a look at the villager count. Beastyqt literally has 0 villagers on gold. But he's still getting 150 per minute. Not too bad. Gonna get another hunting cabin up soon as well. Knight just starting to group together with his comrades and 2 archers as well. And Beastyqt certainly playing the heavy feudal age. At least for now. Walls going up to try and protect the economy. Not a lot of military on the field though for B, just mostly ranged units. Zhuge-Nu could be placing down another archery range. Looks like it's going to be Zhuge-Nu spam. I'm not sure how they'll deal against the knights though, especially if Beastyqt gets that +1 ranged armor, and that's exactly what it does. It gets a iron undermesh rather. Yep, that is exactly what it's called, iron undermesh. Survival techniques comes in. We'll be boosting up the speed of deer hunting. Heading out on the west, yep. Sending a villager just to put the hunter cameras all around the map. Getting 209 gold per minute now without a single villager on gold. So strong for the Rus economy. Doesn't have to ever really worry about mining gold at this rate. Jugnu though, a very nice defensive unit, very nice attacking unit. It's very versatile. 37 villagers to 30, courtesy of the Song Dynasty, of course. Back at home, double stable, double archery range. That is for Beastie, of course. Shuganu heading out a little bit. Another third archery range. It's going to be very heavy. Shuganu building up a large mass. Needs to keep an eye on what the army is doing there for Beastyqt. Alright. Slowly but surely, getting into the meat of the game. Sealed arrow comes in for Beastyqt. They've got wheelbarrow as well. Both players do have wheelbarrow. A fourth? I think it's a fourth archery range. Let's just double check on that. It is indeed the case. Fourth archery range. Army is heading now towards on the west side. Keeping a scout there on the west, keeping a scout on the east, just keeping an eye on things. Shuganu will look to try and take down that scout. Does a lot of damage. Looks like B heading down the center, a scout there in the center of the map as well. Beastie does lose that, and he's going to need to react. He needs to bring his army down the center because that's where the pressure's coming in. As the Shuganu spam does move forward. Might be a bit of a difficult one to deal with for Beastie. We shall see how he manages. Gets another archery range, a third archery range. And the wood income is really strong for the Rus. It doesn't have a wooden fortress though. The wooden fortress would boost up the wood being brought up by 20%. In any case, still building up a large army. Finding his time. It feels like this game might just go from 0 to hero very quickly. One big engagement. I wonder whether siege engineering will be coming in soon for 3DB. Doesn't have it just yet. Doesn't have the resources to get it either. Oh, let's just check actually. Oh, he does. It was Beastie that doesn't. But he hasn't got it just yet. Wooden fortress on the deer pack. That'll be a nice source of food for Beastie to take. And wooden fortresses, or rather hunting cabins, will be taken down by the Shuganu. You can see how much damage they do, especially with Steeled Arrow. So strong. Can even take down buildings. Puts that one on fire. A little bit of damage coming in. Less gold will be coming in for Beastie as well. He's starting to build up a number of knights. I think if you can get a critical number of knights here, Beastie, that'll help. But look at the intelligence here. He's moving in. Gonna look to pick off reinforcements that might be trickling in. He knows that there's an army at the back of his base. Going to try and cut them off. Oh, looks like militia have been brought into action. 12 of them. Going to look to try and dive these Shuganu, and they should be able to. The movement speed should be better. Should be faster, rather. Engages. This is a big engagement. Nice use of the Levy militia. Shuganu going to try and micro. No point in them microing on the militia. Needs to focus on the knights and maybe the archers, but being pulled back now. This is bad for B. He's losing a lot for free. Got caught out of position. That can so often happen with archers units, ranged units like this. Especially when you're under the mercy of cavalry. Another batch of Shuganu, well, a lot of Shuganu do join the fight. A lot was lost. And he is on the back foot now. Militia still, again, acting really good there as a front line. Plenty of life left in them too. Really great addition to the fight. Knights are charging down, archers are behind. Lots of Shuganu going down. The Knights decide to retreat. Does get a couple of kills there. Be on the retreat. The militia will head in. They don't mind diving in. No real harm. They will be perishing very soon in 20 seconds anyway. It's important for them to do as much damage as they possibly can. And now 3DP is under a lot of pressure. Beastie can just regroup. He is behind on economy, but heading military. He looks to try and deny this deer pack, and Barbican won't even be enough at this point. Don't forget, high stakes game. If A wins this, we'll go and progress to the next round of Golden League. The other player would go home, the tail wagging behind their butts, their legs. Shooting you rip through the knights. Does so much damage. There's the burst attack coming in. Takes down the boar. Possibly looking to take down the hunter cabin on the trooper. He's actually going to try and force things back a little bit. Going to set a couple of Junior to try and chase the knights. Might need to bring those back. Yeah, he does indeed. Best not to get too carried away and too lost there. Well, hunting cabin does go down. 296 gold per minute still coming in though. Wonder whether he's got villagers. He doesn't have any villagers on gold at this point. Ooh, knights are diving in on the wood line. That could be painful. Nothing there to defend. No spears. Not enough Jugunu either. But the villagers will go down on the wood line. That will start to even and balance things out on the economy front of things. There's another very weak villager on the wood line. If Beastie spots that, he'll go right to it. He does. He gets another kill. Good value though. Jugunu should start to snipe the others. Might get one more kill out of this. Might manage to get two. Could be close. No, shouldn't manage to get another one. In any case, Jugunu heading on the east. Doing a lot of damage, but again, there's so many archers there for Beastie. Probably a bit too many that the Jugunu can handle. He's heading back now. Horseman charging in. Another group of Jugunu joining in the fight. Heavy feudal age battle here. 50 of them on the front. Overall so far, good job by Beastyqt. Relatively similar destruction value, but I suspect that's because of the hunting cabins that 3DB has managed to take out of action. Again, no wooden fortress. Oh no, actually the wooden fortress will be boosting this up. The Kremlin acts as a wooden fortress. Bear that in mind actually. Kind of forgot about that earlier on. But that is being boosted, that wood. Just kind of thinking, how is he affording it? And that's why having double broad axe, wheelbarrow, and that wooden fortress in the form of the Kremlin. Speaking of wooden fortresses, this will go down soon if he's not careful. They're BC going to garrison the villages inside. Could be an interesting decision that BC has. Might look to engage this. Try and save those villagers. We shall see. Only 4 villagers are there. One does go down. The Jugunu spot this out. Horses charge in. Jugnus do back off. Villagers survive for now. Another group of militia have been brought into the fight. That's important. They're actually soaking up at the attack because, of course, if you attack maneuver arrow, if you attack move rather, then these Jugunu will focus on the militia if they're closest, and they do start to head to the front line. Horsemen are there, knights are there. Still a decent number of them, and the problem for the Jugunu, they're having to focus on the cavalry. They're soaking up a lot of the archer damage. The archer numbers there for Beastie a little bit too powerful. I think, I don't know, this is not really a fight that I think 3DB can take. But he's standing and fighting, and Beastie's microing this, going closer to the Jugunu, make sure they can't retreat. And, well, B's losing everything. I think he really miscalculated that. He's going to have to head back home, but he lost so much. Look at the army value now. 7,000 for Beastie, 2,500 for 3DB. The destruction value, 12,000 for Beastie. Only 8,000 for B. I think he's going to lose it from here. Knights are diving in. Villagers on the berries. They have to head back home. Not enough Jugunu numbers. 33 army to 68. Knights are tanking a lot, and this could be the beginning of the end. B might actually suffer a lot of pain at this second push. Wonder whether Beastie will invest in siege engineering. He's going to stand and fight. I'm surprised to not see the knights involved. They're going to charge in from the back line. The archers are going to try and take as many Jugunu as they can. The Jugunu need to focus on the cavalry now because they're charging. If they focus on the cavalry though, that leaves the Rus archers in behind to do all sorts of damage, and that's exactly what they're doing. 59 to 27. I think this could be the end of it. We shall see. Diving underneath the Barbican. Beastie doesn't mind. Villagers garrison inside. All 8 of them spots filled up in the Barbican. Beastie just diving in. He doesn't care about the Barbican. He's going to dive right in. And this could be the end because a lot of the villages are idled. 22 villages are idled. Almost a third of the economy that B has. Now Beastie heads back. He's done damage. Going to look to get eco upgrades. Horticulture getting rams as well. Beastyqt going to try and seal the deal. Final nail in the coffin could be coming in soon. Oh, nice bit of archer play there. Brought 3 on the west side. Look to try and idle some more economy, pulling the army away. And this is smart. He's pulling the army away for B, keeping him preoccupied. He won't spot the rams. He might see it if the villagers head in that direction. No, he doesn't. By the time he sees it, the ram will already be there. It'll be too late. Another villager goes down. Considering the Song dynasty's been there for so long, villager lead for B is not all that extensive. There's so much idle time for the villagers moving around. Does have wheelbarrow, that'll certainly help, but the house is in an awkward position. I think Beastie might just be quite content, at least for now, whilst he builds up his army just to take these houses down. This is a problem for B. He's still just going Zhuge-Nu. I'm surprised not to see a couple more horsemen from B, or a horseman at least. Some horsemen. To try and tank some of the archer damage. But he's just trying to fight fire with fire here. 73 military to 36. Inspect Beastie's added further production buildings. The 4th archery range. And he's just constantly producing. It's looking bad here for B in game number 3. Did well to pull it back, evening up the set. I think Beastie sent some army here on the west. He has got militia here, pushing the villagers off the gold. Beastie has the map awareness, looking at where the key resources are. Villagers being brought up here. Look at that. Beastie, he spots it. He even built a hunting cabin sneakily. The militia are going to go in that direction, pulling the villagers away. Lots of idle time. Archers on the front line as well. Going to then start to focus on the Barbican and the Sun. 2 rams are in play. Villagers having to pull back. So many villagers going to be cut off. I mean, there's just so much idle time being caused by militia, which barely cost anything. Literally 40 food. Causes so much damage. 2 rams on the Barbican. Takes some time. It's not what B has. B doesn't have much time, because when that Barbican goes down, that's kind of the last static defense that he has. Chinese under all sorts of pressure. 45 military to 81. Trying to build up a Zhuge-Nu mass, but not sure he has enough. Gonna focus on the rams. The rams soak it up. Knights charge in. And these knights are starting to tank a lot of the Zhuge-Nu fire. Food income really solid there for Beastyqt. 1,500 food per minute coming in. Has got a bit of a farming transition as well. Chinese have gone for a very heavy farming transition, and that's a bit awkward because that means that could have been wood spent on static defenses, could have been wood on units. Instead, it had to go for a very hard transition. That comes down to the fact of the aggression for the Rus. Pushed them off key resources, especially here in the south. Again, our knights and archers there making B work for the gold. Push looking strong here in the north. Barbican Sun has now gone down. Zhuge-Nu camping in between the foundations of the Barbican Sun and that woodline. Nice choke point there, has to be said. With 1 landmark down, 2 more to go. This is a terrible fight for B. He can't take this, but he is. Going to lose a lot of units in the south. Zhuge-Nu, yeah, that's bad as well. The 3 knights are going to soak up a lot of damage from the Zhuge-Nu. Archers in the back. Well, the Rus will pick up whatever's remaining. B under all sorts of problems. Archers are diving in pretty heavily. Pick off the Imperial official. Numbers dwindling for B. 29 military. Villagers and gold completely exposed. A lot of them will go down. Knights will charge in too. And they won't be able to move fast. Even with wheelbarrow, a lot of them will lose their lives. Diving in underneath the production buildings as well. So when the Zhuge-Nu pop out, they get directly into the fight. But they're completely outnumbered. This is great for Beastie. He's getting so much value. The army value is 6,000 for Beastie, only 1,280. It's because of the numbers. 45, 42 army versus 21. He's in the woodline. This could be curtains for B. He's going to lose the Imperial official and then villagers. And I think Beastie just takes out villagers here. He won't mind. He probably won't care about the Zhuge-Nu as long as he takes as many villagers as he can. And now, for the first time in the game, Beastie actually does lead the villager count. And that should not be happening, not with Chinese Song Dynasty. And this is going disastrously badly for B. Losing so much, and the Zhuge-Nu will sweep this up, but he's lost so much already. Zhuge-Nu, all Zhuge-Nu just haven't worked today. Villagers going on gold on the front of the map now, and in the middle of the map. B's going to push them away with the archers and knights, and yeah, B is struggling. I don't think he has anyone on gold. Well, he's got 23 apparently, but yeah, they are actively gathering in the middle, but the archers are there. Knights are going to head back, and more villagers going down. Beastie in control. He's got the villager lead and the military lead. Might just take one big fight. Knights diving in, soaking up again a lot of the arrow fire from the Zhuge-Nu. Archers behind. Pushed off her farms. That is a key bit of detail. Only 6 villagers on food. And that food, he can't really afford much. And there it is. There's the tap out. Beastyqt progresses to the next round of Golden League. And 3DB has lost this match. Did well to get that second win of the set. But unfortunately wasn't enough in the end.